let's paint together today. I'm going to start by using washi tape to edge each side of my piece of paper. It gives me a nice crisp white border around the edges, and it also peels off nicely without damaging the paper. I'm going to start off by sketching the church, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that church's significance in a moment. I am playing most of this video at about 6 times speed, just so you know. And right now I think my kids need me. Hold on one moment.
Mommy, I got something to show you.
Okie dokie.
Can I see it?
All right, let's get back to the sketching. This is an old country church. It's the Arbela United Methodist Church in Michigan. I attended there when I was quite young with my mother. I was actually the only child that attended there at that time, and so I really felt special. I felt like I was attending a church full of grandmas and grandpas because most of the people who went there were older, and I really felt loved and that I had an important job to do as the acolyte. A lot of the people in the church really made me feel very welcome. Later on, it was the church that my mother and father were married in. I am doing this painting for my mother at her request because the church recently closed and the building went up for sale. So I went out in November and took some of these pictures so I could get an idea of how the church looked for drawing it out and making the painting. Now, from what I heard, the church has since sold and it will become a private residence. Here I am very slowly and meticulously at real time painting a rectangle. Just wanted to show you guys that, and let's speed this back up. For all these windows and shadows, I'm using the exact same gray color, which I mixed from primary colors, but just with different amounts of water to make it a lighter wash or a stronger pigmented color. You can see in this comparison of my painting to one of the real life photos, I have edited the building a bit. I've decided not to paint in the covered entryway to the front door because that's a newer addition of the church, and I wanted to reflect the church a little bit more like what it would have looked like when my mom and I were attending or when my mom married my father there. I just wanted to get some of that feel of the original version of the building without all the additions and things like that. Likewise, on the front facing side, on the other side of the bell tower entry, There's now a handicap ramp and doors going straight into the sanctuary, but those weren't there previously, and so I have replaced that with the original windows that used to be there instead of the door and the ramp that is there now. Here I'm going in with a brown straight from the pan just to push some of those shadows where the bricks are under the overhang of the roof. Let's add some more rocks around the foundation. I am looking at the photos and trying to get similar rocks, but for the most part, it's more of the idea that there are rocks there instead of the exact same rocks in the exact same shapes. Once the roof is dry, I come back in with the same green and add some layers. Here's some striping to add some direction and flow to the roof. All right, I love these Mr. bottles that I've got. Spray a little more water onto my palette so that we can get some more rocks in there. Painting some of the mortar work in between the rocks, just to set it all in place in that basement foundation. Again, since the brickwork is dry, I can come back in with a second layer to push some shadows and give some more dimension. I actually do add a little bit more brown into the red brick color that I've made to really push those shadows, because if you don't have enough shadow in your art, it actually doesn't have enough dimension and it doesn't feel quite as real. Your lights don't pop as much if you don't have the shadows. All right, now let's add some happy little trees back here. There are pine trees bordering the yard of the church, and beyond that are cornfields, like much of the area I live in. Cornfields. I've made it a habit during these videos to share with you what content creators I'm watching or listening to while I do my artwork. And today I want to share with you one of my favorite, long-standing favorite podcasts, which is My Favorite Murder. I just love listening to Georgia and Karen, and it's just like being among friends, and it's funny and quirky. So if you like true crime and chatting with friends, I think you'll really enjoy the My Favorite Murder podcast. In these final stages of the painting, I've been adding details to the brickwork and shadows to the trees to add some texture and some life to the painting. And here it is, the final painting. Tape peeled back and paint all dry. And I framed it up and gave it to my mom. And I think she really liked it. Thanks for joining me today while we painted. I hope you guys do something creative today too. Bye.